again because telling me I'm a lion is doing nothing right now but continuing to freak me out.
So my son is 16 months old. He's been on 35 or 36 flights already.
That's freaking insane. I have a girlfriend who has 10 kids and they were living in both Puerto Rico and the US. And so seeing like all of their suitcases, how they like travel with everybody. Oh my gosh. I think people have this like misconception that people with a lot of kids like wanted a lot of kids or planned to have a lot of kids. I did not know I was going to have 5 children.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm here sharing inspiring stories about fearless entrepreneurial women to help encourage you to live your life unapologetically. I'm your host, Heather Blankenship. Welcome to the Unapologetically Me Podcast.
on today's episode, I'm talking with my friend Kacia Ghetmiri, and we talk about everything from starting out in business as an MLM all the way up to building her own business, her podcast, starting a company with her husband, as well as what it's like to be a mom and how your life changes throughout these phases. Let's get into it. Kacia, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited.
Okay, I have a confession.
Yeah.
I still don't know how to say your last name.
Ghetmiri. It's like get married, but no D. Ghetmiri.
What nationality is your husband?
He's Persian.
So this is a
Iranian.
Persian name.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't
So
say
I have
it.
such a hard name too. Like when you see it on paper, it's like how to so people just don't know what to say.
Literally,
Or they get nervous about Kacia even.
right.
Yeah.
So literally our mutual friend Olivia had to voice text me how to say your name the first time that I was talking to you.
Understandable. Yeah.
Okay.
It's tricky.
So
but hi.
Kacia Ghetmiri.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited to be here. This is
I'm
fun.
excited to have you here.
Yeah.
So you have a really unique niche because you started out in kind of and would you call it MLM kind of background?
Uh-huh.
And you got really great at like talking to people and selling. And how did you progress into this like podcast queen from there?
Yeah, it's so interesting because 2014, I basically did the thing that I thought that I was supposed to do, had this career. My last corporate job was working at Google and it made sense on paper, but internally I was like, I'm just like not meant to be in this lane. So network marketing, which I partnered with a company called Beachbody. So they had like, you know,
I remember this.
P90X, Insanity, like cuffed socks videos. So I was like getting like yoked in my garage and I randomly just like had connected with this girl on Instagram who was building a whole like team of people that were doing this. And I was like, I don't really understand what this is, but she was a stay-at-home mom.
I don't think I even realized that P90X was MLM because it was actually a really good program.
Yeah.
A lot of times MLM stuff is like not a good product.
So Beachbody was different in that they were a direct-to-consumer company first. So they crushed it with all of their fitness programs. And then they decided to add in like a network marketing component instead of going to like brick and mortar franchises. Like they would just have their distributors as a network marketing company.
Yeah, okay.
And then it went from, I started in 2014. I actively built it until 2018, around that time frame.
And that's a long time. A lot of people do that for a couple months and they're out.
I did it. I had a 4,000 person team. It was like the first time I ever got to speak on a stage.
That's huge, Kacia.
It was really cool. It was like, I had so much energy and I was so different than the people that were building a lot of these businesses were often stay-at-home moms who had like massive back against the wall stories or they had like huge, weight loss transformations. But I was like making $100,000 a year. I had this great job and I just wanted to like get fit because I went to happy hour all the time, right? And then I just saw the opportunity with it that I was like, oh, I could build something on the side. And then I noticed that there was a lot of women that were in that niche was like, they're corporate hustlers. They want side income because they're entrepreneurial and they want to build something. And it turned into this massive team. And I mean, I really credit it to like helping me learn entrepreneur skills and like my gateway into entrepreneurship. And also it was the first time I ever spoke on a stage. They were like, this girl's got energy. Let's just put her up there. And it was in front of 7,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
And I had those sweaty, like the chicken cutlet things on, like, when you're wearing like a jumpsuit. And I was so sweaty that I was like, these chicken cutlets.
Okay, so the first time that I had to go speak on stage was in front of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, most people get to like inch into this, right? They like speak at a meetup or something, and then they like gradually go in.
Yeah.
And do you know who, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name now. He's like super famous on social media, and he's like he's the person who speaks before me. He's this huge hype man. So he's got everybody up on their feet going, like ramping them up, totally excited. And I'm like, oh my God, Carlos Reyes is his name.
And you have to go after him.
And I'm like, I have to go after this guy. So I'm like in the hallway freaking out. And the guy who's running the event, he's like, Heather, you're a lion. You're a lion. I'm like, does this work for men? Because telling me I'm a lion is doing nothing right now, but continuing to freak me out. So how did you grow past that? Like, I'm sweating through my outfit to become this like super energy that you are now on stage?
Well, I honestly think like in the moment I just had to make a decision because, you know, it's like fear and excitement is the same feeling in your body. And I was like, if I am really scared and I start sweating, I was picturing like the chicken cutlet things like sliding down, coming out the bottom of my pants, like hitting like Brad in the front row because it was like co-ed too. So I was like, one of these is going to fall off. And so I just really made a decision. I was like, I love the feeling of doing this. And I use excitement as a compass to help guide me like the direction of what I'm doing entrepreneurial wise too. And I just loved it. I was like, I'm scared, but like, I love it. I love the feeling of it. So I'm like, how could I do more of this? And then honestly, Beachbody was cool because it taught me so much, but I didn't own it. And I knew that like at any point in time, they could change their comp plan. They just finally closed the network marketing model in December of this year. So like it was actually passive income for us, like literally not touching it for years after I stopped actively building it because I had such a large team. But I knew that I didn't own it. And when my now husband graduated from dental school, we moved to San Diego from New York. And I could tell right away that he didn't like dentistry, which was his career path. But because he's Persian, it was like be a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, engineer, something like that.
My husband's Asian.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah. Yep. So like the pressure of that, he picked that lane. And I could just tell right away that he didn't like it. So I was like, well, I need to do something else. And I want to do something I'm excited about that I own. But I don't know what that is. So I started my show, Empower Her, at the end of 2018. And the intention was like, let me build community outside of this Beachbody stuff.
Okay, so let's stop and talk about that.
Yeah.
Because 2018 was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like people, because they see social media, they think that everything is like an overnight success.
Literally
everything. Whether it's posting and growing your account, having a podcast, doing YouTube, like buying real estate, doing events. They think that you're like this overnight success and like 1,000 people are going to show up. Yeah. Which is not true.
No.
It's like 2 people.
Yeah.
It's consistency. It's continuing to do it and not giving up. We're talking about 7, 8 years later for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about that because it's not easy to get up and record every week and keep this going.
And like twice a week for, probably 7. I've probably done like 700 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Consistently twice a week. The first year I didn't even monetize the show. I just did it because I wanted to just grow like my personal brand. I wanted to build connection.
And you got to get good at it.
I had to get good. I was like so awkward and sweaty at the
people
beginning.
think they should be paid like day one. And you're like, girl, you're not good at this yet.
Well, and like you also need like to put your reps in so you can actually like find your lane of like how you want to talk and what you want to talk about and like figure out what doesn't work. That's really helpful too. But I saw a big vision with if I stayed consistent at something that I loved that much. Like I love podcasting so much more than I love posting on Instagram. I started a blog and I did 2 total blog posts in 5 years. Like I just like I didn't love it, right?
And that's okay. Like we should point that out too. It's okay.
Yeah.
You've got to find which part you actually like because the consistency isn't going to happen
Seriously.
if you loathe doing it.
Yeah.
We literally talked to somebody about this yesterday. You cannot hate all aspects of it and be successful at it. There's got to be something you can be like, I love this part.
100%. And I think like you talk about that with like the real estate aspect, like finding the part of it that you love. And it's like, I knew that I loved the platform of building a podcast. So I was like, if I build the community and I start asking them what problems that they have, I can then create the solutions for those problems. Like Entrepreneurship 101, right? Where a lot of them started telling me like, oh, I want to start a podcast or I have a podcast and I want to monetize it. And as mine started to take off, I was like, oh, I could teach people how to do this. This could be fun. And that's really kind of how my own business started.
And you've been married how long?
We've been together for 16 years and married.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Since we were 19.
Oh,
I know. We met at a college house party.
Oh,
I was
that's
dancing
totally
on a table
fitting.
drinking vodka.
That fits. That fits. I am not at all shocked by that story.
Yeah. So we've lived in like a lot of different places together. We've grown up together. And now it's just like, it's fun to be in this chapter because we have a baby and
the most adorable baby ever.
Thank you.
And we're working on baby
We're
number
working
2.
on number 2. We're actively working on baby number 2.
So I know this can be a little bit of a touchy subject, but I feel like people do not talk about the fact that miscarriages are really common.
Yeah.
So I have 5 kids, but for those of you who haven't had a baby, when you go into the doctor, they don't talk about necessarily how many kids you have. They talk about how many pregnancies you've had. Like they literally preface it that way. And so now when I'm talking to the doctor, I have to say I've had 8 pregnancies because I've had 3 miscarriages. I had 2 before I ever had kids. I had 1 in December.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. And like it's like a hush thing we don't really talk about. And women, because of that, they think something's wrong with them, which there could be, right? That's legitimate.
Yeah.
But it's also very normal. And we don't talk about that it's normal and it's part of it.
Yeah.
And that does not mean that something's necessarily wrong with you and that you're not going to be able to have kids.
Yeah.
Like talk a little bit about your experience with that.
It's so interesting because I knew that miscarriage was like 1 in 4 pregnancies. Like I knew the stats, and I have a predominantly female community, and I have so many women that I work with. I knew how many people had struggled with fertility in my community, but with our first son, we got pregnant on the first try and had like the picture. I mean, I loved being pregnant. I loved our birth, like like everything was so great that I literally just assumed that because that was my experience the first time, that was going to be my experience the second time.
And everyone is so
and everyone's
different.
so different. And like, I know it cognitively, but like, I just like didn't expect it. So we got pregnant right away. And,
the second time you got pregnant right away.
Yeah, right away. And, then we had a miscarriage, and I was like so blindsided by it. I was so shocked by it. I decided I wanted to talk about it like publicly too, like talk about it on the podcast, talk about it on social media. Hundreds of people like reached out, and honestly, like I feel like it sounds weird to say this, but like I do feel like it really served me because I really let myself go so low with that. And to be honest, I'm a very like optimistic, happy-go-lucky. Like,
but it's okay to take a minute and grieve that.
Yes.
Because it truly is something you're grieving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you envision this is going to be a baby that's part of your family. And I was like so completely rocked by it that I did not expect like how
many weeks pregnant were you?
I was only 5 weeks, 5 days. So I'd only known for, not even 2 weeks. But it felt so real. And I was like, we're planning the house and we're doing
super graphic.
Yeah.
But when I miscarried in December, I was 10 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
And so you're pretty far along and something starts to develop. And you have 2 choices when that happens. You can either go to the hospital and have a D&C where they like clean everything out.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can take this medication where you pass everything at home. And I chose, I have enough kids at home, like going to a hospital and having to have all of that done. I didn't have time to do that.
Yeah.
So I chose to take the medication. And what I don't think I was prepared for is I knew I was going to bleed, but I didn't know that there was going to be this, and I don't know why I didn't know because it makes sense, that this like essentially like the shape of a fetus coming out of your body.
Yeah.
And I remember like screaming in the bathroom and calling my husband and being like, it's like 2:00 in the morning, right? Because you take this medicine before you go to bed. And I'm like, look at this. It's like a baby. Like, I feel like people don't realize that early on, like you're like losing a baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't imagine that experience. Because
the further along you are, it's like a harder process to have that miscarriage.
Totally.
Because your body has to pass it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's interesting because like, it's so common and it's the things that aren't talked about. And I think that's something that you and I have in common is we love talking about the stuff that people aren't sharing that's so normal. Like it's supposed to be hard building a business. Like sometimes growing your family is not going to go the way that you planned. Like juggling, trying to prioritize your marriage and your kids and like all the things that you want to do. It's like, it doesn't look like people share on Instagram. And like, even like talking about stuff like this is really important because it's like, that might be what happens, but you come back from it. You don't tell yourself a story that like, I mean, obviously you can get things medically checked out, but like, I don't have a story in my head that my body failed me. I just believe I'm going to get pregnant again and it's going to be amazing. And then I'm going to look at that little baby and be like, oh, this all makes sense. And I think that's important,
Listen, y'all, I know today's episode is inspiring, but inspiration alone will never carry us to our ultimate goals. That's why I started the Society of Entrepreneurial Women. It's a mastermind for high-performing female investors and entrepreneurs who are living their lives unapologetically. In a world where most people don't get us, or they try to keep us confined in a small box, the Society exists to turn off the brakes and set you free. We have weekly calls covering investing, wealth building, health, relationships, family, and a whole lot more. We have small tribes to hold each other accountable to our goals. We have in-person, ladies-only retreats to disconnect and drive each other towards our dreams. And most importantly, this is a community where you can be unapologetically you. Celebrate your wins, scream your successes from the top of the rooftop, become best friends with women who get you. We're 3 years in, and I can honestly say my best friends today are all from the society. Click the link in the show notes to learn more.
So you're trying for baby number 2 again.
Yeah.
So we talked about this in the hallway the other day, and I'm like, because like my real estate brain's like, okay, our entrepreneurial brain, like, how do we make this happen? Kacia, how many times a day are you having sex with your husband while you're ovulating? You're like, well, I think I had sex with him once. Like, why once, Kacia? we need to make sure that you're going to get pregnant once is not enough. What are you doing?
So good. This is the straight talk that you need. You're like, get after
what
it.
Are you doing? Like, we're timing this. Yeah.
So good.
I love it. Okay. So I also noticed that you and your husband travel a ton and you take Brody with you.
Yeah.
He's like the expert traveler right now. How are you envisioning that with a bigger family?
I know, it's going to be interesting. So he's been, a lot of people before we got pregnant were like, enjoy travel now because you're never going to travel when you have kids. And I think there's a lot of just like, using social media as an example, like people like making motherhood just seem like it's like awful, like, or you're not gonna have a life
like
again.
It's holding you back.
Like it's holding you back. I hate that narrative. And part of it was even just the travel. We love travel. And so we just decided to start bringing him. He's been on, so my son is 16 months old. He's been on 35 or 36 flights already.
That's freaking insane.
And like, that's just what is normal for him, you know? Like, so many people are so afraid to bring their kids on a flight. And I'm like, just rip the Band-Aid and go. Like, he's used to it now. I envision that we'll still do that. It probably will look a little different. But honestly, like, traveling with a newborn was so much easier than traveling with a 1.5-year-old. Because now they're more like,
they want to move.
And I don't know, like, I only have 16 months of experience with being a mom. You have a lot more experience than I do. But at this point,
actually decided that when it's a short trip, it's not worth uprooting everybody and like dragging all the stuff getting through the airport. Because again, like 5 is different than 1.
5 is a lot. I have 1.
Yeah, 5 is different than 1. So like the price of all the plane tickets, right? For me to have a 2-day trip here, it is not worth dragging everybody here. So my assistant is at my house supporting my husband, helping him get cooked and cleaned. Because we don't have a nanny. So like if I'm going to leave him with 4 kids, I'm like, okay, he needs some help.
Seriously.
For the 2 days I'm gone. But if I'm gone more than that, we don't want to be apart as a family for that many days. So we're dragging everybody with us. And dragging is literally, I don't mean that with a negative like frame. It's literally dragging everyone's
Well, I mean, you have
stuff,
so many humans. You have to get into your like van, your giant van. Like,
I have a girlfriend who has 10 kids. And they were living in both Puerto Rico and the US. And so seeing like all of their suitcases, how they like travel with everybody. Oh my gosh. She has this, I need to link it. She has this Instagram video of how she packs a travel pack for each kid and like what she puts in their travel box to keep them occupied on an airplane. She is like an amazing mom.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible. I can't even imagine having 10 kids or just being pregnant for that much time. Birthing so many humans.
For 10 years of your life
Literally.
being pregnant.
Wild.
Yeah. Do you think 2 is all you'll have?
I think so. Yeah.
How old
2,
are you
maybe
now?
3. I'm 35.
So you could have quite a few more if you wanted to.
We're gonna like play this back, and I'm like, shoot, I had 10 kids.
Okay, you know the trend on Instagram right now that's like, I had coffee with my younger self or whatever. I saw this girl who has 5 kids and she has a like 12 passenger van like I do. And in her video, like her, like I met myself for younger coffee was like, bitch, 5 kids. Like, how did you end up with 5 kids? I think people have this like misconception that people with a lot of kids like wanted a lot of kids or planned to have a lot of kids. I did not know I was going to have 5 children.
Yeah.
I was like you. By 35, I had 3 and I was like, okay, I've got 3. I'm good.
Yeah.
Nope. I got a couple more and who knows if I'll have more than that.
I feel like you're putting this on me. We'll see.
You're going to need a 12 passenger van, Kacia.
No. Oh God. Okay.
Maybe you need a bigger place to live.
Oh no.
So your husband has recently shifted and started his own business.
Yeah. That's been interesting.
Yeah.
So
because you're like a business coach too.
Yeah.
You like have these like VIP days where people come and they set their plan out.
Yeah.
But you can't totally behave that way with your husband.
100%. Oh my gosh. So we had my business, which was producing a lot of income, but required me to be on for everything. So we started thinking about like, how can we take that income and invest in real estate when he left dentistry, because he hated dentistry. It just took him a while to realize it. I just knew right away. But he had to come to terms on his own. So when he left, we started, like heavily investing in real estate. That was what he was doing, was like operating our real estate portfolio. And then, just recently, so in January, he decided to start his own service-based business, which I'm not involved in.
Which is an amazing concept.
It's a really cool concept. It's called Rent Up. They literally find qualified tenants to fill apartment vacancies. And he's doing really great, but he's also a first-time entrepreneur. So it's like, Kacia, oh my gosh, like you're never gonna believe this happened. I like closed 3 buildings, and then like 2 hours later, like this person said no. Like why don't they understand it?
Yeah, the highs and lows. It's like truly how it works,
literally,
right?
It's your best day and your worst day in the same hour. Yeah. It's just like that's what it's like.
Yes,
and so
you have to get used to like thriving in the chaos.
Yeah, you have to. And if you don't like it, like you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because you
have to regulate your emotions with that.
For sure. And and he's really good at like being cool, calm, collected internally, but this is just a whole new ball game. And I'm trying to like not rob him of the pride and fulfillment that I know he's going to get from like figuring out the kinks.
So how do you keep yourself from being like, babe, don't do that?
I know. I ask him like, do you want my take on this, or do you just want me to like help pump you up? And we kind of try and do that to each other.
Am I support, or do you want advice?
Yeah. And like often, I mean, he has really great ideas of how he wants to approach this type of a business. I've never done a business like that before, but I can like really help him with just like, this is part of the game. You're doing it. Like you're in the trenches. You're going to be so proud of yourself.
Do you ever think about how blessed you are that both of you get to like stay home and do this?
It's all the time. It's like
y'all are really blessed.
It's so incredible.
Most people are like taking their kids to daycare. They barely have time in between.
100%.
Like you have like a dream life.
He would have been doing like root canals at 8 a.m. while I'm like hanging out with our kid. Like I don't even know how we would have done that with his like prior life, what it would have looked like.
So for the mom out there who's like, I'm dreaming of that life. I'm the person who's doing the root canals at 8 a.m. and dropping my kid off at daycare. What would you say to them? Like, how do they like take that leap and get started when they're scared because they need the income?
Yeah. I think 2 parts is 1, like just being more open-minded. I would have never expected that my entrepreneurial journey would have started with like network marketing. Like I didn't even really know what I was doing. Right. And I wouldn't even expect where we're at now with all of the things that we're doing.
Let's reword expect, because I talked about this on stage yesterday.
Yeah.
I think people think they have to do something that they're like so excited about the topic.
Yeah.
Or because like even your husband probably was not like, I love putting tenants in home.
Right.
Units,
That's true. That's true.
Like finding that aspect. We talked a little bit about this of a business that makes you excited. You don't have to love like RV parks to be like good at the business and do a good job.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, and that in itself, right? Like being open-minded to like what could give you the life that you want to. Because I think business
is a vehicle.
It's a vehicle. I was literally just going to say that. Yeah.
This is not your identity.
It's the vehicle to create more freedom for you of whatever that looks like. And some people, that's like, our friend Olivia who wants to like travel the world right now. For me, it's like being present with our kid and future kids and you.
You could even be obsessed with the outcome it gives you. Like I am doing this because of the outcome it gives you. Like like a confession, y'all. I don't normally wear makeup like this, and my hair is normally like in a top bun and I have yoga clothes on. But I keep remembering that statistic that women make 30% more money when they look better and are put together. So
there you go.
When I don't want to spend the 45 minutes to get ready, I'm like, but I want the outcome.
Yeah, there you go.
So I am spending this 45 minutes to get ready because I want the outcome.
Yeah.
So you've got to fall in love with some aspect of it.
If you can fall in love more with the process of anything than what the process produces, though, like you're really set. Right. But I think for the person that's scared, it's like you might already be in your worst case scenario right now. So I would be more fearful of like not trying the thing.
It's not going to get worse than it is right now.
It's not going to get worse.
Because you can always go back to this. I think people
100%.
think of it as an all or nothing. Like I can't leave my job and do that. You can go get another job.
Yeah.
You can literally go back to this situation that you're in right now.
100%. And I also think I have this belief that if you're gifted the vision, you're also gifted the resourcefulness to figure out any how along the way. And that's just a core belief of mine. So anytime I've got a vision, I'm like, oh, I want to have this exceptional marriage. Like, how are we going to figure that out? I want to have this type of like wealth, or I want to have this type of freedom. Okay, now how am I going to figure it out? If I'm gifted the vision, I'm gifted the resourcefulness. Like, I don't know how yet, but I'm not going to get caught up in the how.
And you're not going to give up and switch to 7 other topics before you figure it out.
100%. And I think that's one of the things too, is like people aren't willing, they label, and I'm guilty of this too, of like, I'm multi-passionate, but it's like, sometimes you got to build one thing.
But no, bitch, you're distracted. Let's pick one for a little bit. You can go back to those.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Exactly. And I think like finding one thing that you can try on for size, and then detaching a little bit from the outcome in the beginning stage, because you're not going to be great at anything when you first start it. So you kind of just have to be like, what am I willing to suck through until you get better?
Ladies, it's time to redefine the conference experience with the Society of Entrepreneurial Women Retreats. Step inside a world tailored for women just like you, where you can lead, learn, and unwind in style. Our retreats offer everything from insightful investing sessions to fun activities like salsa dancing, boat cruises, food tours, and so much more, ensuring you come back not just inspired, but truly refreshed. Join a community that celebrates you wholly and supports your every endeavor. Ready for a retreat that changes the game? Visit the link in our show notes and find out how you can be part of this exclusive experience.
You also have a new thing coming called the Mom Party.
Yeah.
Tell me what Mom Party is.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of events and like big production events. And I really just decided I wanted to do something more intimate. And I wanted it to be for essentially the demographic that I'm in, which is like being a mom with young kids who's super passionate about what I'm doing outside of motherhood, but also wants to be really present, and bring together 100 high-level entrepreneurs, all different businesses, to just like pour into each other too. Because often like at events, it's a lot about the keynote speakers, which is great, but I'm about like, what about the room itself? And I know like with your guys' events too, that's what you're doing, of like curating the type of in-person connections where people
that have
are like,
relationships when you leave.
Exactly.
Right?
Where
These
you
are like
get
your
it.
best friends, and you can't wait to come back
your
and see
best
them
friends,
again.
and you're collaborating together. And like, and for me right now, like when I'm even flying to something, when I'm by myself, like we were talking about, I'm in and out in 48 hours max. So the event is a day and a half, because that's what I want right now at this current season. So so it's in Denver in April. Yeah.
That's coming up soon.
I know.
So Mom Party, are you having speakers?
I have a couple of workshop facilitators that are moms that are talking about a specific topic, but a lot of it is masterminding in the room.
I love that.
Yeah.
How are you marketing Mom Party?
Because it's a smaller like group of women, I'm talking about it on my podcast, and I'm just like curating it myself. So I'm like, if you're interested, send me a message. Let me talk about your business, your stage of life, see if you're a good fit, and then send them a link. Versus when I've done bigger events, like 500-person events, it's like driving them to a website. But this, I'm wanting to
even more
curate.
that personal, intimate.
Which takes a lot more time.
A lot of time.
A lot of time.
A lot of time.
I honestly underestimated the amount of time that it would take, but it's cool because I'm like, oh, you have twins, like you have toddler twins, and like you have toddler twins, or you're in marketing and you're looking for someone that has
well,
an
and it makes
agency.
it so much easier to know what they need when you actually know the people coming.
Exactly. And that is like it's a labor of love for sure. Yeah.
Well, I am so excited about the Mom
Thank
Party.
you.
For anybody who wants more information on you or Mom Party, where can they find that?
Yeah. They can find my podcast. It's called Empower Her, anywhere they get podcasts, and they can find me on Instagram at Kacia Ghetmiri.
Thanks so much for being here today. This was fun.
So fun. Thank you.
Remember, authenticity is your superpower. Stay unapologetically yourself, and let's continue embracing our uniqueness together. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss the next episode.